Yes, so when do you think the Cadet Pilot program would reopen?
Yes, everyone is waiting for that. I'm sure that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pilot Podcast. We are back after a long time because I was busy training and I completed my recency flying and I have to do my conversion flights, which is GFT day and GFT night now. But the weather is not good right now because it's post monsoon season. So once the weather is good, I'll complete that flying and probably get my CPL issued and yeah, and Nilay is missing today because we are on a new project. You will come to know about that project soon. And we are getting very little time for the podcast. So today I and Capt.Neha were available. So we thought let's do a podcast because it's been a while that we have shot one. So,
Absolutely. Now the weather these days is because of receding monsoon. The weather is getting quite gusty with a lot of thunderstorms everywhere, especially in Mumbai as well as in Kolkata and all the coastal regions. The winds are pretty strong. Like the other day, I landed with about 20 knots of crosswind, and
wow.
yeah.
How was the land? How was the landing?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. And when it's raining, it's always like firm landing, as we have discussed in the previous podcast. Because and crosswind and you decrab, and at the same time you flare and land. So
Okay. So
yeah.
was it a VFR or an IFR or partially VFR?
No, it's always we always fly on IFR flight plan.
No. I'm asking the weather because as it was raining heavily, right?
Yeah.
So were you able to see the runway or how was it?
So, of course, because CAT 1 landing conditions were there, so visibility was more than 550 meters. I would say rather RVR was more than 550 meters. So, it was good, absolutely okay for to go and land manually.
So if the runway is wet and you land the plane and suppose you brake a bit harder or you use the reverse thrust too much, so are there any chances of plane skidding?
So, in first place, this whenever you apply the brakes, so there are auto brakes also, or there you can use manual brakes. It's up to you at your discretion. So, in case of the auto brakes, there is a equal braking on both the the wheels. Whereas if you use manual brakes, you have to ensure that there is symmetric braking. Otherwise, the aircraft can go to the left or right. So that is one thing. But in case of the crosswind, what happens is because the wind, let's say you are landing in from here, okay, and if wind is like this, okay, especially in Mumbai, runway 27 is in use, okay. So that is, if that is not there, then there is other runway secondary. But then now let's talk about this 27, and then winds are generally southwest monsoon, when we call it as the winds are coming from southwest direction. So basically it is about 24020 knots or 24015 gusting to 25 knots. All of this is the wind reported these days. So the crosswind component is about 15 to 20 knots, around 15 knots, okay, approximately. So in that case, your heading of the aircraft is into the wind, okay, and then you decrab. So when you have the aircraft is coming in from here and wind is like this, there is something called as the weather cocking. Weather cocking, as in the wind will strike the keel surfaces. Keel surfaces are side surfaces of the aircraft. So CG is more or less towards the forward part of the aircraft. So because of that, when the wind strikes the keel surfaces which are behind the CG, which is a larger portion of the aircraft nose tends to yaw into the wind when it is on the runway. So to overcome that, you cannot keep on going on one side of the center line. So you need to ensure that you are on center line despite of whatever is the wind.
Weather or winds,
okay.
yes.
So you have to apply the right rudder. So one is during the flare, you have to apply right rudder, because you are into the wind. Your nose is into the wind. You
Yes,
can't
yes, yes.
land like this.
Yes.
You have to be
You have
aligned
to-
to the center
yes.
line of the
Definitely.
runway. Okay, so this is decrabbing. And thereafter, you have to apply the right rudder as well. Okay, and then if required, the brake as well. So you may not, use the auto brakes all the time. You may
Okay.
use it or may not use it. And then reversers. So what happens is if you are using the reversers and then if the aircraft has the experience, if the aircraft experiences a lot of crosswind, then using the maximum reverser is also not a great idea. So then you use the idle reversers. There are different settings in the
Okay,
reverse
got it.
also, max and then idle. So if runway length or the remaining distance permitting, you can consider using the idle reverse. Okay, so that's
Okay.
at pilot's discretion. All these things are of course written in your manual, and that takes precedence over any information that we discuss here. Yes, that is a disclaimer. So
yes.
yeah, these are the things which we generally do in the line flying. So yeah, this is how it is going
Yes.
on for last few days.
Yes, and lately I see you have back-to-back flights like every day. You don't have time to shoot podcast and stuff. So how many hours are you doing in a month right now?
So this month, so considering this one week I was on off, and
Yes,
then
yes.
I started flying. So now I'm doing 65 hours, which
Okay.
is okay in the remaining 3 weeks. So
So 3 weeks you are doing like 65 hours.
3 weeks,
So if
65
you do
hours, yeah.
4 weeks, it would be roughly around 80 or more than 80.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Yeah, around 80.
80 hours of flying. So it's
Which
back.
is 80. Yeah, it's back. And it's normal. That's what we have been doing before.
Okay.
And that was okay.
Yes,
So-
and I see recently you had a layover in Dubai. So
Yes.
how are the things now when you go on a layover after COVID?
Oh, on a layover after COVID, things have opened and things are pretty back to normal. The
Okay.
only difference is at public places, there is a mandate of wearing a mask.
Okay.
And that is pretty much, but nothing, no vaccination certificate, So, of course, it depends on place to place or where you are visiting. So, obviously, like all the pilots are vaccinated with all the 3 doses of vaccination. But despite of that, and you have to carry that certificate if in
Yes,
case you
yes.
are requested to produce it.
Okay.
So that is one thing which you need to keep in mind. But other than that, there is no specific requirement. Like I went to Dubai Mall and I was not asked to produce
Okay.
any certificate as such.
Tell us about the whole, like from start to end of the layover. Like what time was your flight from Mumbai and where you went? Because
Yeah.
as an aspiring pilot or as an aviator,
Yes.
everyone wants to know your schedule when you are on an
Absolutely.
international layover.
Absolutely.
Yes. So when did you start? And then what did you do in Dubai?
Yes.
And then how was the hotel? Whom did you meet? And after that,
Yes.
coming
it
back
was-
to Mumbai, how was it?
Absolutely.
Like the whole thing.
Yes. So the schedule was we operated like 3 sectors to
Okay.
Trivandrum. Okay. Started the day in the afternoon at around 3, and then it was the sector from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad to Mumbai, then Mumbai to Trivandrum. Okay. So there were 3 sectors. Then in Trivandrum it was a layover, and then obviously we landed at night. So that night was a layover, and then next day there was no duty, and that same night at 12 o'clock reporting. So from Trivandrum to Sharjah was the flight.
Okay.
Okay, so Trivandrum to Sharjah was the whole red-eye flight. Okay, so when you have like 12:05 reporting, then definitely you need to sleep during the day. So you have to ensure that you're well rested before the flight, because I knew the weather en route is not really great. And as we crossed Abim, Goa, and then when we were in Arabian Sea, there was an entire patch of bad weather. So we had to deviate. So when you're in Arabian Sea, you're over Mumbai HF frequency. And then we had to take a deviation from HF. So HF is like high frequency. It's not like as quick as VHF as you request, and then they have you on a radar display. So they give you deviation on VHF very quickly.
Okay.
It is very easier for the air traffic controllers to immediately approve the deviation. Whereas on HF, they do not have you on radar. So they have to actually cross-check it with the ADSB, and then they have to check with the other air traffic controllers, which are the radar controllers, and thereafter cross-check whether the any other traffic is not going to conflict with this aircraft, even if you take a deviation. So that is something which takes time to get the approval from the ATC. So you need to plan it in advance. So yeah, that you need to be well rested to handle such situations. So you cannot consider that in even red-eye flight, you will definitely get controlled rest. Okay. So like even though the flight time was more than 4.5 hours it was, but as per legality, beyond 3 hours is the flight time, you can take controlled rest. But not when you have such kind of situation, whether or when you have any unusual procedures to be followed, then you're not supposed to take control rest. So yes, of course, we were all, dodging the weather, and we were deviating. And yes, it was fun, and landed in Sharjah. Then it was obviously like night time. It was
like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was about 3 o'clock Sharjah time, 4:30 Indian time. So then by the time we reached the hotel, it was, 4 o'clock over there.
Okay.
And then by the time we just got freshened up, and the hotel room was amazing. It's a beautiful hotel there. And yes, there are a lot of facilities there. And you get the allowance on international layover. So you can definitely use that if you wish to shop something. Of course, Dubai being quite expensive. You wouldn't even realize when the allowance is spent.
Yes.
But yes, you can, go and visit
you can
the
spend
mall.
like a number of money in Dubai in an hour or in a minute.
Absolutely.
It's like it consumes money so fast.
Yes. And then we were sitting in a restaurant where we were able to see the entire fountain show, which was so beautiful.
Under the Burj Khalifa, right?
Yes, next to Burj Khalifa. So it is in Dubai Mall itself.
Okay.
And then there was Burj Khalifa on one side, and then there was this fountain show at night. It was very beautiful. I met my cousins there, and yes, it was pretty nice. I didn't get time to meet her when I was in Bombay. And I met when she got married, and then she's with her husband in Dubai. So it was fun. It was really fun.
So you didn't get time to meet her in Mumbai. And
yes.
in Dubai, you find out time to meet her.
That is because I was on a layover. So I went and met. It was amazing. So me and my first officer, both of us went, and I did some shopping and bought some cosmetics. Yeah, Dior cosmetics. And it was fun. And
Gucci belt.
Oh, yeah. That's my first. No, let's not brag
First
about
Gucci
it
belt.
too much. Yes.
Lavish spendings of a captain.
That's too much. Yes.
Yeah, then what after the shopping you went?
So yeah, after that then yes, the clock was ticking because we had to rest, and then we had to wake up at 2:30 local time, and then we had a flight from Sharjah to Trivandrum again, and then Trivandrum when you land, obviously it would be international terminal. Then we had to change the terminal. So after landing in Trivandrum, so whenever you do international layover, pilots have to do post-flight breath analyzer test, which is mandatory. So because in international destinations, there is no breath analyzer test. So when you come back, then you have to ensure that within 1 hour, you do the BA, that is breath analyzer test. And that is obviously supposed to be negative. And thereafter,
Yes. I think recently when I and Nilay went for flying, so we used to do BA every morning.
okay.
And surprisingly, we did not do it anytime in the US.
Okay,
But while
okay.
flying in India, in US there's a rule to randomly check, like if suspected to be under the influence of alcohol or something.
correct.
But in India, it was every morning we used to report at 8 or 9 in the morning, depending on our flight. And then an instructor used to do the BA, and that was recorded on the camera.
Yes,
And then
absolutely.
it gets uploaded into the system. So
Yes.
every day we used to do the BA test,
yes.
and it used to be recorded and uploaded. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, this is
Yes.
something
In
new.
India.
Yeah.
So
something.
here also, whenever all commercial flights and the pilots have to undergo BA, which is recorded, and you write your name, time,
yes, name,
at which
ID,
you
time.
ID, and what flight you're operating, what is your license number, and that register is maintained. So need to write
Yes,
that page
and it
number
was
on
like if you forget to do the BA on a certain day, then it's considered that you were under
as
the influence.
positive.
Yes, as positive.
Yes. So that is you're not supposed to. So at the moment, still DGCA is conducting 50% of the breath analyzer test for pre-flight BA.
Okay.
For post-flight, it's 100%. So
Okay.
post-flight BA is when you come back from international layover, then every pilot has to undergo BA.
Okay.
It's not just you can just sign that BA is
Okay.
So it's not just undertaking. It is actually you have to do the BA.
And pre-flight 50%? As in
Pre-flight 50%, as in 50% pilots will be undergoing BA.
Okay,
as
so
of now.
randomly.
So in case of in COVID time,
Yes.
when there was peak COVID, only
Yes.
10% of pilots were undergoing BA. Eventually, it increased to 25%. Thereafter, it increased to now 50%. And from 15th of October, it is the circular has come that the 100% pilots will be
Okay.
undergoing BA. So that is about it. And post-flight, anyways, everyone has to undergo. So this is something which is to be kept in mind, because we are not used to doing BA post-flight. So there is a high chance that
you might
there is a
forget.
possibility of forgetting the BA post-flight, and that is taken as positive if in case you forget
it.
to do
Okay.
it and if you leave the terminal. So international terminal, you do all immigration, customs, then you do post-flight BA, then you change the terminal. So
To domestic.
you have to, So in Trivandrum, there is no provision of going
Within the airport.
within the airport to the domestic
So you have to
terminal. So you have to
rotate and,
actually get out of international terminal, take the crew transport, go by road to the domestic terminal, then again do the entire security, and then go to the gate, and then again prepare the aircraft and proceed for the next sector. So when we were operating the last one, which was Trivandrum to Mumbai, then Mumbai also was reporting thunderstorm and rain at estimated time of arrival. And the another runway was in use, which is secondary runway 1432. So runway 14 is said to be one of the shortest in Mumbai for landing. So that is to be really taken into account. So then we have to use all the maximum braking, maximum reversals for landing. If in case there is a slight overshoot also, then we have to consider a go around. So
you have to land. So you have to land on the 1,000-foot markers compulsory, right?
So we generally also we have to land on 1,000 feet marker, but if in case it is slightly beyond 1,000 feet marker and within, as long as it is within touchdown zone, it's fine. But if it goes beyond 1,000 feet marker and it is still within touchdown zone, then you need to still use the maximum reversals and deceleration, etc. But if in case it goes beyond touchdown zone, if you anticipate it is going beyond touchdown zone, you have to go around in any case. Whether it is whatever the length of the runway is, you have to go around.
Okay.
So that's how it is. Yeah.
So after that,
So
you landed in Mumbai.
yeah,
And
after
then-
that landed in Mumbai. Then it was the domestic sector. So then we just got out of the aircraft and came to the terminal and then got back home. So yeah, it was great. Like this was awake since 2:30, but still after the entire flight, when you
So you landed
No,
at what time?
in the afternoon at 3:30.
3:30.
Yes,
And then you
yes.
reached home by 5 and then...
Yes, 5, and then passed out. Yeah, for
What
good.
about your next, like
So-
suppose today is, it's 7, it's 8 o'clock, almost 8 o'clock.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So now tomorrow morning I have 6:30 reporting.
Okay.
So have to wake up at about 4:30. So I have to sleep by about 10:30. So yeah, I'll be okay. Once we're done with this, then we'll have meal and then go to sleep. Yes, it's
And
interesting.
what's the load on the aircraft right now, be it international or domestic?
Yes. So in loads are going pretty full. So if you see Airbus 321 has like two configurations. One is about 232 is the load.
Okay.
Okay. So and then if you say Airbus 320 and then 321. So Airbus 321 has the load maximum seating capacity of 232
Okay.
passenger seating capacity, and then
So for your Sharjah flight, that's an international sector. So what was the load or the occupancy?
occupancy is going more or less 80 to 90%.
80 to 90%.
Yes,
That's really
yes.
good. That's
It's
a
pretty
great recovery.
Nice. It's pretty nice. Yes, yes. So it's going pretty full. Yeah.
And what about the domestic sectors?
Even domestic is
80, 90?
is pretty nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so aviation is kind of recovering.
Is recovering. Definitely
And,
it is recovering.
I come across every month the vacancies
Yes.
of type-rated pilots
Absolutely.
by Vistara and Air India. And I recently read that Air India has ordered around 25 or 30 planes, like 21 of them being A320s and 5 of Boeing 777.
Yes.
So what do you think about this?
Yes, so Air India has come up with the vacancy for Airbus 320 type rated first officers. Twice, in fact.
Yes.
Like 3 months ago, it was for the first time, and then last month also it was there again. And now they've come up with a Boeing 777 type rated pilot vacancy. So, apart from this, the Vistara has come up with a vacancy
Yes.
for type rated pilots, but there are certain requirements which are a bit different compared to what, for example, age criteria.
They have
is-
reduced to 30, right?
Yes, they've reduced to 30. So, if type rated pilot vacancy, if you consider, and if the age criteria is 30, then yes, you have to plan it accordingly. Like, if in case someone is elder, then definitely Vistara is not the option for them. Unless they are experienced, then you can
Yes, but
apply.
this is for fresher,
This
right?
is for fresher.
Okay.
Yes, this is for fresher. So other airlines do not have this criteria of age. So such a lower age bar, like 30
Yes.
is pretty young.
Vistara has certain requirements for hiring pilots. And then they have another criteria, which is they preferred graduates with a degree, right? So no other airlines, I think, has this requirement or something.
Even Vistara has a requirement of, a 12th and more than 60% you need to score in
Yes.
physics and mathematics, as well as preferred if you have cleared the ATPL papers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they
all
are
these requirements
like they want
are there.
everything. Like you need to
Yes.
check each and everything.
Yes, yes.
So it's age less than 30, ADPL papers cleared, then have a have a degree,
Then 12th with
then
physics and
12 with
maths with
physics
more
and
than
math more
60.
than 60%. Because for other airlines it's like 51% maths physics. Okay, and then if you have a CPL with 200 hours, that's
Yes,
good for
yes,
them.
yes.
They don't require a degree. Okay.
Other airlines, I haven't seen any percentage requirement in 12th. Not
Yes,
many
yes,
airlines
yes,
do
yes.
have a percentage requirement unless it is for a cadet pilot program.
Yes,
Pilot
Cadet
program.
has 51% for
Yes.
now,
Yes.
and when they would start is a topic of discussion, but no one really knows when it would start. And if they start and if they revise their the requirements, the eligibility criteria, then they might increase it to 55 or 60. Like it depends on them, right? So everyone like is kind of waiting for the cadet pilot program to reopen.
Yeah.
Yes, so when do you think the cadet pilot program will reopen?
Yes, everyone is waiting for that. I'm sure that everyone is, asking us. You also know, and so you need to keep checking the website at regular intervals. You can say once in a week or 10 days. You can keep checking, and then whenever it is open, you can apply for it. So it is very important that you have to keep exploring whenever you have to apply and you have to go to a certain pathway. Yes, you have to keep a track of that particular thing, okay, and that particular website. Keep it in your bookmarks or keep it, keep refreshing it whenever it is possible. As well as if you are desirous to become a pilot or if you are an aspiring pilot, then definitely you can do all your prerequisites that are required for you to be either a cadet pilot, or if you are choosing the conventional pathway, then it's very important that you are done with your medical, you're done with your computer number application process, you're done with your DGCA exam papers. At CNTAA, we do provide the 100% assistance for computer number application process. If you know that there is a lot of problem happening with the computer number applications and a lot of people have their computer number rejected multiple times, because of which students do get frustrated that what is happening. And there are various reasons for computer number rejection. So it is not that easy for computer number to be issued. So because of that, we do provide complete assistance without any extra charges
Yes,
at
and
CNTAA.
yes, and like it is recommended to clear DC papers before you start flying, because
Yes,
once you start
absolutely.
flying, if you take a break and then go to clear the DC papers and then come back again and start flying, so
Yes.
that is kind of like start and stop. You need energy to start and stop, then again start
Absolutely.
and then stop.
Absolutely.
So I did that mistake. So what I did was like I went for flying first and then came back and cleared the exam. So there was no one to guide me, so I did not know. So now, as you all know, so if you are planning on going for flight training, then first clear DC exams, get your RTR license either from India or Canada. Canada is a good option. So yeah, so once you are done that, then after that you can do your flying, complete it as soon as possible, and then convert your license if you're doing from abroad. If you're doing from India, just submit your papers and get your CPL.
Absolutely.
Because during this time the vacancies are out. This period might last for a year, might last for 2 years, might last for 5 years, no one knows. So if you are an aspiring pilot, what I would suggest is get done with your DC exams, start flying, take decision what you want to do, and just work hard, go for it.
Yes. If the students are planning to do their flying in abroad, then also, if in case they have any inclination to go for any cadet pilot program, or even if they have to go for conventional pathway, then also for airline assessments, it is very important that they have a knowledge for technical general. So that will not go waste, because in the airline assessments, when after CPL they go for the written exams or even interview, then the interviewer will not think whether that a candidate or a CPL holder has done CPL from India or abroad, and they definitely will emphasize and ask questions on the
Technical
certain
questions.
aircraft systems, or in case of the aerodynamics, which will make that candidate puzzled if in case he or she doesn't know about it at all.
Yes, if they are
Because-
not clear with the concepts.
Yes, absolutely. So because that is not a requirement to clear the CPL exams, but for airline assessment, it is always added benefit and
Yes,
advantage.
yes.
So
that is not a requirement for issuance of CPL.
yes, that is not a requirement for the issue of CPL if the candidate does the flying in abroad, but it is required for knowledge point of view
For airline
if in
assessment.
case when you go for airline assessment. So this is one thing because of which the new aircrafts are coming up. Apart from that, the experienced pilots are going to the airlines in abroad. The airlines in abroad have also opened up with their job vacancies, because of which the experienced pilots, when they get approximately 4 to 5,000 hours of experience,
Yes,
they
yes.
apply for airlines in abroad. And then there is a requirement for pilots. So in that meantime, so experienced pilots go to the other
Yes.
airlines. Then the senior first officers become captains. And then the junior first officers become first officers. So there is a requirement for junior first officers. So that's
Yes.
how the
Cycle
cycle
continues,
goes. Okay.
Yes, today morning, as we discussed, got a call from a pilot from Qatar. So he also, like I told him my story that this, I have done this.
Correct,
Now I'm
correct.
converting my CPL, and then we'll go for my type rating, and after that I'll get inducted. So he told me the same thing, that pilots from India are going in the Gulf, are going and
Yes.
the like other countries for better opportunities, and soon you will be inducted because there will be vacancies in the coming years. So I was happy with his call. Like
Yes,
he just told me
absolutely.
like there is vacancies and everything would be good soon.
Absolutely. Yes. So Qatar is coming up with a roadshow in Mumbai. On
Roadshow of
28th.
what?
So road show means a lot of people think that a road show is something pilots going on a road or walking
Okay,
or something
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
It is not like that. Road show is the recruiters, like from the flight
Okay.
operations and
Yeah.
the HR, will come to the designated address, designated venue at in that particular city, and then whoever pilots do meet with the requirement, they would come there and visit and then have an interaction and
Okay.
have a formal discussion with them, and then they go for their further round of interview.
So it's like an open house for
It's
job,
like
right?
an open house
If
for
they
the
want
job.
to move
Yes,
to Qatar
yes.
and stuff.
So
Yeah.
that is happening by the end of this month.
Okay, wow.
So yeah, as well as Emirates has come up with the vacancy for first officers as well as captains. So this is something. Even there is Flynas is the airline which has come up with a vacancy for captains and even first officers. Okay, but obviously it's only male captains and first officers, not for females. The base is Riyadh.
Okay.
Then, that's in Saudi.
Yes.
Then even Air Arabia with Sharjah base, they have come up with a vacancy. So
there are a lot of vacancies.
a lot of vacancies are there. Even there is an airline in Vietnam. Vietjet has come up with a vacancy.
Yes, I see regularly
So-
Vietjet post
Yes,
about the
yes.
vacancies.
So a lot of experienced pilots are going to these airlines.
Yes.
And then there is a requirement. So
Ye-
these are the reasons because of which the requirement is coming up. And whenever this phase is going on, pilots should take the best opportunity of this, because in aviation, as we have discussed, that it is a sine wave.
Yes.
There is a peak after which stays for few years, maybe
Then,
3 to 4
yes.
years, and there is again a slump. So if you don't take the opportunity of the peak, then you never know how long that slump is going to go on. It can take maybe 3 years or 4 years, or it
like
can
the
take
COVID
even 5
slump
years.
was like 2 years.
Yes, yes. So that is something which has to be kept in mind. So
Yes,
you
I
really
see.
have to value time. You really have to, like students do have to value time and not just let it go. Let the years are passing, nothing productive is happening. So that is not the attitude or approach towards anything.
Yes, I mean, if
Or
you
towards
hold a
life.
CPL right now and if you are waiting for the vacancies for a non-type rated CPL holder, then what can a CPL holder do now is polish their communication skill,
Absolutely.
go through the technical knowledge, then be current with general affairs of aviation and stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so either you stay with the aviation, like do a job related to aviation, or you keep yourself updated with the current aviation knowledge, because you don't know when the vacancy is going to come. So if the
Absolutely.
vacancy is going to come and then you prepare for the job, that would take a lot of time.
Absolutely.
And by the time the vacancy date is posted and you are not ready for the interview, you just missed an opportunity,
Absolutely.
right?
Nowadays, it is very difficult and challenging to get a slot in type-rated training organizations. That is TRTO, it is called as. So once you get a slot, then that is about a month or two later. Thereafter, it takes about a month or month and a half, about 45 days to get your type rating. And thereafter, it takes another month and a half to get your type rating
Endorsement.
This is very less time I'm talking about. So on the higher side, if you say, it takes approximately 5 to 6 months from the day you actually decide to do your type rating till the time you actually get it
an
on your
endorsement on your
CPL. So it is quite a lengthy process, about 6 months on the higher side, about 4 months on the lower side, if I say. So a lot of things can be variable in this case. So because of that, once you get it, then you are eligible to apply in the airline vacancies. So type rating is very condensed thing. So it's not like you go there and there you start learning that aircraft. You really need to have basic understanding of the systems, basic understanding of that particular aircraft and switches. So if, let's say, you are going for a type rating of Airbus 320, then you at least need to have gone through the air systems, and you need to have the basic flows, at least that much you should know. As a pilot flying, pilot monitoring, you need to sit with your sim partner and then practice those flows like multiple times, not just 5-6 times. You need to practice it multiple times, because when you sit in that simulator, your hands should be going in that direction and that way. Because if you go to the cockpit, then you will see that there are multiple hundreds of switches. So you need to exactly know like where you need to touch and at what point you should do it and what call out you should give and where you should look at. So to get that entire coordination set, it takes time. So it always gets polished better and better if you do it more often. So you just got to sit with your sim partner and then practice it multiple times.
Yes,
That
even if you're yet to decide the sim partner, what one can do is before going for type rating, 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior, they can just start learning the systems. They can just start like memorizing the flows or the emergency checklist and stuff.
First of all, you need to know the systems, because without knowing the systems, you will not know what switch is for what purpose.
So the main prerequisite is learn the system first.
First, you need to learn the system.
First is systems.
So that in system, all the switches, what is the use of every switch, you will know that. So then you need to learn the SOPs. And once you are thorough with the SOPs, then you need to know the memory items. So initial type rating for that, even if you know the SOPs and memory items, that's good enough. Later on, and basic engine failure procedures, that's good enough. And then later on, rest of the things can be taken care of. But to, tell you the initial pre-requirement to get the things flowing smoothly, this is what you should do. So before type rating, don't just go there as a blank candidate. Go there with the preparation, so things will be smooth. The time in the simulator is quite limited. So if you have already practiced by looking at the panels, so if you have that overhead panel, central pedestal, put it in your room, paste it, and then take a chair, do chair flying. So you can do, if you have a sim partner, then both can do it. If you don't have it at that time, or if he or she is not decided yet, then you can do one flow as PF, thereafter the other as PM. Okay, something like that. So that will make things smooth there.
Yes, because in the sim, you have, I guess, 4 hours. So 2 hours as pilot monitoring and 2 hours as pilot flying.
Yes.
And then you set up the aircraft and stuff. So if one sits there and figures out what is this, that 2 hours will go like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So you really have to be prepared well in advance before you go for typewriting. Yeah. So once you are back, thereafter, again, you don't have to lose the touch of that particular aircraft, because see, when you have decided to do typewriting, you need to be very sure and you need to be extremely dedicated that your clock starts the day you do your CA40, day night. Okay, what is the meaning of this clock starts? You have to start flying on that aircraft type within 3 years, or at least land up into any job on that aircraft type within 3 years of the date you got your CA40 checks done. Okay.
So it's like a recency thing. So for CPL, like before one gets a CPL issued, it's like 6 months you need to get your CPL issued. For this, CA40 is issued, and then you have 3 years. If you fly that aircraft, then it's good. If you are not able to get a job, then you will have to do your type rating again, right?
Yes. So after 3 years, there are total 9 sessions, which have to be repeated again. So 9 sessions is the basic requirement of type rating, and then up on the top of it, there is CA40 day check, CA40 night check, and IR check. So there are 3 more. So there are total 12 sessions. Okay. So if in case you don't end up into flying that aircraft for 1 year after your CA40 check, then you have to repeat 3 sessions of simulator. If for 2 years, if that candidate doesn't start flying that aircraft within 2 years of CA40, then you have to repeat 6 type rating sessions.
So it's 3 sessions after year 1 and another 6 after 2
years. 3 sessions if in case 1 year is lapsed from the time.
No, I'm asking, suppose if a person, so 1 year has passed, he or she does 3 sessions. And then 2 years passed. So after that, will they have to do like 3 sessions or 6 sessions?
So you don't end up, or you don't do the sessions unless you actually get a job. So if till 3 years that particular candidate doesn't get a job, then you should do some sessions to keep it current. So obviously you won't keep it doing every year or every 2 years. So make sure that within 3 years you get a job. If in case by any chance any candidate doesn't get a job, then you can do about 6 sessions. Within from 2 years to 3 years time, and thereafter keep that type rating current.
Got it. So in 1 year, if they do like 3 sessions, the type rating is current, right?
And if 3 years are passed by, then entire type rating lapses. So it's like that. Then you have to do everything all over again. If a candidate has thought of becoming a pilot, then yes, you can start with medical, then computer number application, DGCA exams, all of that.
Because this process, like as we start from scratch, like class 2 medicals, class 1 medicals, computer number, DGCA exam, then RT exam. So this things takes around like 5 to 6 months easily. Yes.
And for medical also you need DGCA registration, for which at CNTAA we take care of that.
Yeah, recently I was speaking with one of the student pilot. So he has applied for class 2 medical and he did not receive assessment for 2 months now. So so there can be delays in your medical assessment. So without that assessment, you cannot go for your class 1 checks, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So sometimes due to the delay from the agencies and stuff, this process might extend. The medical and the computer number, because you, as you mentioned, right, the computer number can get rejected if there is a single error. Okay,
Yes,
and then to
absolutely.
redo the process, it takes again 1 month and stuff.
It takes a long time.
Yes.
Even if the signature is not matching or photograph
Yeah.
is not in a particular format, or if in case
Size.
the size is not correct, or if in case you know if mother's name or father's name is
Yes.
mismatching, or if someone has
Hmm.
changed the name, or if there is a discrepancy in the name on 10th and 12th mark sheet or birth certificate, there could be
Yes, yes.
multiple reasons for which the computer number could get rejected.
Mhm.
So it's very important that the students take the correct guidance from concerned person, and yes, we do take care of that. So
Yes. And in the start of the podcast, we mentioned there's something coming up. What is coming up? Do you want to tell in this podcast, or we'll save it for the next one?
we'll save it for the next one. Yeah, keep the
Okay.
curiosity going.
Yes. So we are planning something big, and you guys would love it. So we'll disclose it in the next podcast, and we'll try to bring someone on the podcast with whom we are working. Nilay is not here probably because of that thing which is gonna come. So
Yes.
yeah, stay tuned for it. And if you have any questions, any queries related to pilot training, you can reach out to us,
Absolutely.
or you can comment down below. And that's it.
Yes. So, what can a CPL holder do once you get your CPL? If in case you have a CPL at this point, then yes, as we discussed, that can go
Yes.
for type rating. And
So one
then,
is type rating. Second is they can go or do a job, pick up a job related to aviation, which is in the airport as a ground staff or a dispatcher or in the management, or whatever skills they possess, they can work into an airline.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
is the second option.
Yeah, like should be associated with aviation. That is one thing which I would suggest.
Hmm.
And on the top of it, as some airlines have a requirement of ATPL papers cleared, that then that
Yes.
candidate will be preferred. So that is something which a candidate can definitely think
They can clear
of.
ATPL papers.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. They can definitely clear ATPL papers, do the type rating, and keep themselves fully ready and charged up. So if you're doing a job, then make sure that you are not completely distracted into it, and you need to give at least couple of hours to keep yourself in touch with the studies.
Mhm.
So by doing the ATPL as well as by keep reading, your type rated aircraft systems and procedures, you will keep yourself current. That is something which you can definitely do. And then whenever the airline vacancy comes up, then you are fully charged up to crack it in the first
Yes.
attempt. Because when the airline vacancy comes up after 1 year or 2 years, we don't want the students to be rusty with their
Yes.
knowledge. They should be completely polished with their knowledge, because the airlines want the standards and knowledge of the students as well as skills of the students to be good. So if in case you just don't keep yourself in touch with the studies or with the procedures, then if the candidate gets rusty, then there are very thin chances to get cleared in that airline assessment. So
Yes.
it is very important to keep yourself in touch with the studies. It is not actually that easy as it sounds like, but you really have to be very, very focused and dedicated towards your goal.
Yes, and I have
This-
seen like if someone does not make it through the interviews, then there's a cool off period of 6 months.
So the cool off period is something which is, if in case within 6 months that same airline comes up with the airline
Okay.
vacancy, but who knows future, that
Yeah.
whether they are actually going to come up immediately after 6 months or they are going to come up after 2 years. So you have to make sure that whatever opportunity you get is the final opportunity. It's like a do or die situation. You have to make it, and no matter what, this is your maximum, I would say, one of the most challenging phase of your life where you will really need to be so focused that you have to, get rid of all the distractions that are there outside. Be it Netflix, Amazon Prime, all this, it's not going to do anything good for you in life. It is good for sometimes entertainment, it's okay. I haven't watched it for so many years. Okay, I'm being honest. Yes, I haven't watched it for more than 5 years now.
Wow.
Maybe even more than that. I was never even like, wasn't like I will just take it and watch it for weeks together. Yes, I have not watched. And it's okay if someone is judging me on that. But
because you don't have time.
it's fine. Yes, I think
Yeah,
it's better to do some
yeah.
productive things rather than watching it. So it's okay. I admit it.
Yes. So if you are a CPL holder or you are an aspiring pilot, with your whole heart, start preparing. The vacancies have started coming. Aviation is back on track. It's your time to get into the airlines. Work hard and get into the airlines.
Absolutely. Yes. So stay focused, stay motivated. We are there to guide you all throughout. And I'm sure that you will make it to that airline cockpit.
Okay.
We wish you all the best on that note and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
See you in the next one. Bye.